The devil is in the math, and the math was the algorithm that determines property taxes across the city, highly inequitable. Part 2 will be on the foundation aid formula. Let's have a little background. What is that? So first of all, this is how our public schools receive funding. The lion's share, about $23 billion, which is about 7%, comes from the city itself. But another $15 billion, or about 37%, comes from the state. Most of that, which is about a quarter, is the foundation aid formula. And what is this foundation aid formula? In 1993, who was our current state senator, Robert Jackson, redistricted, now he's out in the Bronx. Welcome, Michael. This is Michael, one of my amazing supporters, helping get thousands of signatures. Anyhow, so Robert Jackson at the time was president of one of the school boards up in Harlem, and he formed an alliance with Teachers College, the Alliance for Quality Education. And they found that our public schools were severely underfunded. So they banded together, sued the state, sued and won in 1995. And what do you think the state did? Did they issue? They should have issued an apology, right? Had a little decency. Instead, they decided to appeal. It took another decade, and finally, in 2006, they lost, and we won. And so the response was, okay, we need to come up with this formula to figure out exactly how and how much to allocate to schools. And that was the Campaign for Fiscal Equity. The Brennan Center filed an amicus brief. Anyhow, this was 3 decades later. Poor Robert Jackson, who should be retired and resting, and instead he marched from New York City
from New York to Albany.
Oh wow!
Yes, he did.
Yes, yeah, and you see him here on the far right, along with Tish James and lots of folks. Okay, so some of the slides that I've borrowed from AQE, that's the Alliance for Quality Education, and CEF, that's the Coalition for Equitable Education Funding. So for example, you see this lovely lady in the top right, that's Kaiser. She's with AQE. And she, along with Molly Senak, we've been in touch over the last few weeks. They did this presentation in January to Community Board 12's Youth Education and Libraries Committee. This is just to show where some of the programs, so 3K, pre-K, it's important to know that these are programs that did not exist, obviously, in 2007 when the formula was created. So now the formula has to be revised. I didn't give you the entire timeline. So for a very long time, we never got this money, right? The excuse was, we had the financial crisis in 2008, and this and that, a Republican majority in the Senate, and blah, blah, blah. So finally, after a lot of pressure from different groups, Kathy Hochul released the funding this year. Isn't that ridiculous? The 2024-2025 school year. But they're still not relinquishing the funds as they should. They said, well, we have to now adjust for inflation and all these other things. When they did that, we lost money. I just wanted to highlight some of the programs that have been paid for through the city, and these are through the state. And to also highlight that a lot of things have changed between 2007 and now. Like, we now have a lot more kids that are living in the shelter system, right? There's also the refugee crisis. There are all sorts of, 3K and pre-K that now exist as well, dual language. We need an updated formula that's going to reflect the true needs of our schools today. So this is just, what it is, how it's used, school budgets, education programs, and this is how it works. Okay, I'm highlighting this because this is how peak crime statistics happens between kids between the age of 7 and 17. The hour that they most probably commit crimes is after school. So this is why we used to have free after school programs, right? Even the Parks Department used to allocate 1.7% of the city's total budget to Parks and Recreation. And today, it's 0.58. So I'm highlighting this because it's an equity issue. It's also a public safety issue. And then there's the issue of preparing the next generation to lead society, right? Who's going to continue to run our, pave our roads and run our city and even pay into Social Security? And this little video, where is the video?
What happened next? As a stampede.
Suddenly we saw a group of children running through the mall.
Rosia Eduardo had a front row seat as well and said, well, incidents like this woman went out of business. She's happy that the worst came out of it.
Nothing bad happened. None of them were fighting. They were just basically being children.
Does anyone remember that?
I do.
Can you tell us? What was it? That happened a few weeks ago.
Is that the big Plaza Mall?
Yes.
That's my next.
Oh, okay.
In the box.
Yes. So basically you had hundreds, close to 1,000 kids,
1,000 kids.
right, that were rushing through this mall. Basically it was a stampede. Thank God no one was harmed. There was not, there was some property damage, but it wasn't as terrible as it could have been. But this is also coming on the heels of another similar event that took place in the Bronx. This one was in the Bronx.
Yeah.
The other one was in Queens. And that one did result in violence. There were some kids that were beaten up. I'm not going to show you that video. But the point is, this is after school. So this is what I mean about the public safety issue, right? Kids are not prepared for the future jobs and also the globalization of the world, right? I just wrote an op-ed that I submitted to the New York Times last week. They're probably not going to publish it because I'm a little controversial, but you have to call things out for what they are. We are not investing in a lot of things, and I'm actually arguing for more STEAM, right? That's science, technology, engineering, arts, and math in our curriculum. Because having taught in China for 4 years, and then later on tutoring, prepping kids for the SHSAT, I can tell you it doesn't surprise me that only 1% of the kids who are admitted to the specialized high schools are black and brown kids, right? So this is I think a solution that will solve many problems. I'm not going to go through. These are just some of the weights that we want to see. So having a weight for kids that live in the foster care system, add a weight to the formula for kids that are also living in temporary housing. Right. So what can we do? Well, we all know Kathy Hochul is governor. Call her up, that's her phone number. I can give you her email address as well. Pick 5 people in your building to call her and say the same thing. Andrea Stewart-Cousins is the Speaker of the House, of the State Senate, and of course Carl Hastie is the Speaker of the Assembly. So these are the primary elected officials that can make decisions, but you also have your own elected official that you can reach out to. This is the map of the Assembly District, so you can't point up there, but 83, that's Carl Hastie, and 35 is Andrea Stewart-Cousins. This is how you can find your state senator, how you can locate your state assembly person, and that's that for the Foundation Day. You all know I'm running. Brenda, first of all, thank you very much. Can we give a little round of applause to Mr. Bernardo? Who has, I just met one of your relatives, by the way. Yeah, it's not bad. She has an illustrious career. We're going to go into supporting our small businesses, organizing events like this in our local small businesses, something that's near and dear to me, but it comes with a price tag. So any contribution you make, if it's even $10, becomes 90 effectively. Don't forget the primary is June 24th. The general is the 4th. And volunteers, those are the real golden folks. It's not hard if you just pick 5 people that you know and ask them to, for example, make sure your neighbors are registered to vote, or get folks to do some phone banking or door knocking. That would be a huge help, and thank you very much.